This is the podcast where people who have defied expectations and embraced their unique paths to success tell their stories. If you care about traditional old-fashioned values and want to achieve modern success, you come to the right place. Welcome to the Unconventional Podcast, where traditional is unconventional. Here's your host, Eric Bonilla.
Greg, what's happening, man? How you doing?
What's up, dude? I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm awesome, man. I'm so really glad and privileged that you could come on the show with me today, man. Really happy that you're here, man.
I do appreciate the opportunity. It's always nice to chat with a fellow fitness guru like you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, so Greg, just want to give you a proper intro. First up, it's Keto Greg. So Keto Greg Mahler. Started keto, been on keto since 2014, natural bodybuilder. You got your pro card in 2021, and you did that you got your pro card while on keto. So
Yes.
you're certified trainer, ISSA, certified trainer. You're a deeper state keto coach. And you work for Keto Brick, and you are operations manager for Keto Brick. So
You got it. Yeah, you nailed it.
Anything else there? Did I get it all covered?
Those are all the
Awesome.
basic, most important details.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Hey, so Greg, if you could just just give us an idea of like your fitness journey and you know how you got into fitness and how you started.
Yeah, actually, it goes back probably 15, 20 years, really, from the beginning of it. I was not a healthy guy. I worked in the bar and restaurant hospitality gig. I was
Okay.
a kind of a party animal, not necessarily
Yeah.
all the time, but I stayed up late. I closed the bar down. I mean, as an occupation.
Yeah.
I smoked, I drank, I didn't watch what I ate. I was just kind of a standard American person.
Checked all the boxes.
Checked all the boxes, not very active, didn't prioritize sleep, didn't really watch what I consumed as far as macros or quality of ingredients or content went. And then I just kind of found my way into furthering my nutrition, furthering my fitness, got into the world of hitting the gym regularly, found a passion for working out, became a trainer. I've been a certified personal trainer on 2 occasions now, but back then I was a trainer at an Anytime Fitness. Kind of flipped my life around. In doing so, I came to the opportunity of competing in a bodybuilding men's physique competition near me, and thought, what the heck? Me and another friend decided if we each did it, we would do it together, kind of just like YOLO type of an opportunity. Ended up competing in several competitions, and after my last competition at that time, which would have been 2013, 2014, I came out of it with a really bad dietary nutritional rebound. I had a bad relationship with food. This was before I'd even had considered a low-carb or ketogenic lifestyle, and that's what sparked it. I gained a ton of weight after that competition. I didn't have an adequate or proper reverse diet. So I was just like, I ballooned way up. My life just sucked. And I started just manipulating and trying things with my own nutrition to figure out what was going to work better than this roller coaster.
Yeah.
And realized that I felt really, really good on less than like 40 or 50 grams of carbs each day. And this was in 2014, before keto was mainstream, before we had like all the social media people posting stuff. I didn't have anybody to ask. You know, I didn't even know what keto was. I just kind of stumbled into it. It happened to be already called keto. Found that I felt really, really good, low carb, dabbled with it, tweaked it, played with some different things, did some research on it, played a little bit with targeted keto, which is where you manipulate your carbohydrates prior to and post workout. Also tried like a cyclical keto, which is where you just cycle carbs, where you have very few or very many low carb days, and then you have a high carb day, maybe once a week or twice a month or a few times, whatever works.
Wow.
So I dabbled with all the different things. Fast forward to now, 10 years later, And it's been over 10 years since 2014 where I've maintained pretty much 100% ketogenic lifestyle, give or take the occasion of, falling out of ketosis or over consuming or trying something, manipulating my own nutrition just to learn from it. But yeah, it's been 10 years. ISSA certified personal trainer and all that kind of good stuff now. So
nowadays when you fall out of ketosis, is it just from too much protein? Would you say?
it's possible.
Or do you have
yeah, I mean, gluconeogenesis is a demand-driven internal process where if we're not providing our bodies with dietary carbohydrates to use as glucose, our body will actually break down and produce its own glucose from a few different metabolites or energy substrates. But that doesn't necessarily kick you out of ketosis. Overconsumption of carbs can, if you really, really, really go super crazy on the protein, you potentially could, because there's going to be still a blood sugar impact on a lot of protein. But the longer you're in a state of ketosis, the more fat adapted you become and the more metabolically flexible you are at that point. So if you do fall out of a state of ketosis, it's very temporary.
Hey, going back to when you first started, your initial, when you had all the boxes checked, smoking, drinking, all that. Hey, was there anything that was the tipping point for you? Was there something that was this is it, man, I got to make a change? Because maybe, high blood pressure, doctor's visit. Was there just something, maybe some people walk by a mirror and they'll look and go, oh my God, that's me. You know what I mean? So did you have a moment that did it for you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember a lot of, when I look back on that, it's man, I don't even know that dude. That is not me. It was almost like when I try to think back on those memories, it's almost like thinking back and trying to be somebody else, because it's just so different now. But I did have I wouldn't say rock bottom, but it was a rock bottom kind of tipping point. I woke up one morning. I'm pretty sure I've had just a terrible hangover. My mouth tasted like crap because I was just a heavy smoker, 2 packs a day, just all the time. And I woke up that morning, felt like trash. I couldn't remember half the stuff that I did the night before. And the last thing I wanted was a cigarette because it just made me almost nauseous thinking about it. And I took my pack of cigarettes and I crumpled them up. I threw them in the garbage can and I haven't smoked since. So I went from 2 packs a day to cold turkey, no more smoking. Started just watching what I ate, started hitting the gym, and just fell in love with the process and the results.
When you hit the gym, had you ever been to the gym before, or how did you get started with that?
Yeah. Even back in high school, towards my junior, senior year, a few buddies and we would go to the local athletic club and we'd lift weights and goof off. And it was more of hanging out. We didn't really know what we were doing. We liked watching the old dudes in the gym lifting all the weight. We thought we were cool. We didn't want to go home, live with our parents, so we didn't really know what we were doing. But fast forward to kind of that waking point or that turning point, and I started looking up all kinds of stuff on bodybuilding.com. I was following all the big dudes. You could download and print out their workout routines. They were talking about protein shakes and creatine and all this, and I just kind of I just clung on to it and just really, really liked what was going on. So fast forward several years, and I had learned a whole bunch. Other people had asked me for advice. I decided to try personal training, got a personal training certificate, and started working at Anytime Fitness, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. And then once you start getting into it, and then you start looking for goals, ways to keep that motivation. So competing became the next step for you.
Yeah. Yep. And that was before keto. So I did I want to say 3 competitions prior to ever evolving into keto. So this had been 2012, 13, 14 era. But I did hire a coach for those because I didn't know the first thing about competing, and he helped me manipulate nutrition. It wasn't a ketogenic approach at all. It was more of the carb cycling and water depletion and that kind of thing. And I just really liked doing that. And so after finding keto, and my 40th birthday was coming up in 2020, I decided, hey, how cool would it be to do another competition at the age of 40, because that's like, that's a big number. You're 40.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done one in, several years. And how cool would it be to find a coach that could help me with a ketogenic approach? Because at this time I had been keto for several years already. And I wonder if there's a coach out there that could help me. And so I did some research, found Robert Sykes. He was the man. He checked all the boxes. He's just an awesome, solid dude.
Yeah.
And I hired him, and he prepped me. And the rest is history. I got a pro card, did several competitions, placed in the top 3, top 5, all open, natural, drug tested federation stuff. So
yeah, that's awesome. Hey, did you find that you had any like issues with carbohydrates, like gluten issues or anything like bloating or anything like that? And which made it just kind of like accelerated your way into keto?
Yeah, for sure. Because I did a lot of self-experimentation and not under the guidance, not following somebody's suggestions. I just looked stuff up myself. And I tried the cyclical keto, the targeted keto, thinking that they would help with gym performance. And they never really shined super bright. Some people say they really need carbs to work out. I didn't really ever find that. And I think probably because I was keto for so long and I became so well fat adapted that it just kind of muddied the waters. So if I did have any occasion where, we had like a cheat meal or something, we went to the Chinese restaurant or the Mexican restaurant and just had a bunch of carbs that, I hadn't had in a while, I felt like crap. The whole next day, almost 2 days, it would take me to kind of come out of that funk. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Hey, did you ever try any like, this probably be like more toward the start of your fitness, but did you ever try any like crazy diets, like trying to like drop a lot of weight fast or anything like that?
I never really did. I know some of the stuff now is like these weird fasts. Someone will do like, they'll eat only one specific food for a long time, try to shed some weight. I never really tried any of those.
Okay.
I do some occasional fasting, but that's not necessarily for weight loss. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to, let's talk about actually, we can just kind of break it down, just talk about what keto is. Like people out there might just kind of just heard about keto. Somebody, maybe a friend at work has tried keto. They lost 25 pounds. It's usually that it happens a lot like that. Someone at work did it and you got to try keto. And then, the information gets passed and they don't really have it right, but they just probably lost some weight because they cleaned their diet up a little bit. And so they're trying to pass information there, but they really didn't get it right. So maybe we can just kind of like clear it up and just let's talk about like what keto actually is.
Yes. That's a great topic. Thank you for bringing that up, because there's so much misleading, conflicting, misinformation on the internet right now. And a lot of people think when they say or hear someone talking about the keto diet, it's got a fad diet connotation kind of attached to it. And it's really not a fad diet. It is really a solid metabolic process we all possess internally. And essentially, a ketogenic lifestyle, ketogenic way of eating is minimal carbohydrates. You're no longer prioritizing carbs or glucose for your primary fuel source. You're now utilizing fat. And there's a lot of internal processes that happen in metabolic pathways that kind of construct themselves as you give up carbohydrates. But it does not mean you're going to the grocery store and you're buying the keto bread, the keto donuts, the keto cookies, the keto pizza to replace all the other donuts, cookies, bread, and pizzas. It really should consist of primarily whole one ingredient foods such as meat, cheese, eggs, dairy, poultry, fish, butter, animal fats, not the processed, boxed, bagged, manufactured stuff. I mean, those you can fit those in, but that's where a lot of people kind of find they're going down a little bit of the wrong path when they think that they're doing keto that way.
Yeah, I mean, because they're jumping in and they kind of want to make it, well, this looks, I don't know if they want to make it easier, but they just want to make it somewhere that it seems more doable. So they'll see the packaging that says keto bread, keto, like you said, keto pizza. What's the thing that makes those harmful, like, or makes them really not keto?
Yeah, so the big food companies have found that people love these diets, this keto diet, carnivore diet, Mediterranean diet, whatever they can call something a diet. So they'll slap those buzzwords on the packaging so they catch your attention, right? Susan at work is doing the keto diet, and she has these keto muffins, and they're so good, and she just gets them at Walmart. Well, guess what? Susan probably would do much better if she wasn't having anything like that, because there's still some gluten, there's still starches, there's still carbs, there's fiber, there's fillers, seed oils, all kinds of poor quality ingredients in there that if she were to eliminate all of those altogether, she'd be much, much more successful.
Yeah. So the basis of keto is like, it's a high fat, right? So high fat. So when we say high fat, what are we talking about? Like as far?
Yeah. So when I coach people with a ketogenic approach, we typically start them out at 80% of their calories coming from dietary fat. So it's very high fat. And the reason for doing so is it helps your body become fat adapted and enter that deeper state of ketosis, because you're no longer giving your body carbs for energy. And if we completely starve it from carbs and not give it enough adequate fat, it's not going to know what to do as far as fuel and energy are concerned. And that's one of the hiccups I see people struggle with quite a bit, is they have this conception that they have a lot of body fat that they want their body to tap into. So they feel that if they don't eat much dietary fat, they'll burn that much more stored body fat. And it's not quite how it works. It can work if you're very well fat adapted, but that takes time. So when you start out, you want to be pretty heavy on the dietary fat, very, very low on the carbohydrates, and kind of midline on the protein until you allow your body to become adjusted to that metabolic process. And then you can start dialing back your dietary fat. Yep.
Because oftentimes people will confuse it and they'll go higher protein, like what's the guy's name? Starts with an A. I forget the guy's name, but it's a higher protein, like a higher protein, and they think that they're doing it, but when actually, like you're saying, protein's converted, so it can actually kind of work, it can bring you in a different direction, right? But you're still getting results, so you think you're on it, but you're really not.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And sometimes people sometimes people see really awesome results at the onset, and it may not necessarily because of the ketogenic approach. It may be because they removed some products or some ingredients that they didn't realize they were removing, or now they're eating, 500 calories less per day because they're not hungry, and that's just putting them into a little bit deeper deficit. So they're getting some results there. So sometimes it's hard to tell exactly where your results are coming
What's
from.
doing
so
it.
try to keep the variables to a minimum.
I mean, I feel it's about a deficit, and I get that, but at the same time, I do think that it helps with a satiety, especially with people who are like eating nothing but sugar and they're constantly up and down, up and down. They get on something like keto where there's, the higher fat brings some satiety. And so they're able to stay on the diet. And if you can stay on the diet, you're going to be successful,
Absolutely. Yeah. So, the best diet out there or nutritional plan out there is the one that you can stick to, and that may not be the same for everybody.
Yeah. What is it? I mean, is it just like the fat that helps people just stay on, the higher fat? Is that what helps them with satiety, like feeling satisfied? Is that what does it? Would you say is like
and the stabilized blood sugar. So when you're not having this constant up and down of your blood sugar and insulin spikes, it keeps it much more sustainable. You're not irritable, you're not hangry, you don't have cravings, you don't have energy crashes, so you can go longer periods of time without eating.
Yeah, man. And then from keto, I bet people are like, metabolic type issues that they have, there's probably a lot of other benefits that go with the keto type of, lifestyle, I would think, right? I mean, as far as
Yeah,
metabolism and things like that.
absolutely. The biggest one is going to be type 2 diabetes. And, now they're coining Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, like the mental health side of things as type 3 diabetes, because they're finding that it's metabolically influential and it's a glucose issue.
Yeah, so there's something with like type 3, they're calling with dementia, right? Is
Yeah.
that they're associated with that? I mean,
Oh, well,
just because of
yeah, I think it's like Alzheimer's and I just had a brain fart. Which one? Alzheimer's and
dementia, Alzheimer's,
Parkinson's. Yeah.
Parkinson's. Oh, really?
Yep.
That's awesome. Awesome. So as far as like, so when you first get someone started, like how do you usually do it? Like as far as, I mean, I know, is it just the percentage? Did you get everyone the same percentage and then bring it down from there? Or is there like a entry level type of keto, or is it, you know what I mean? Does it
Yeah.
go something
I
like
mean,
that?
it's very personalized. So it kind of depends on where somebody is currently at with their nutrition. If they've been chronically under consuming, which is actually quite common in today's society, everyone's kind of just
Right.
on a diet. You've been on a diet forever, and people are just, I've run across people that say they're eating under 1,000 calories a day, and they're doing 1,000 plus calories a day of cardio. So they're literally just stressing their body so hardcore to the max that there's no way that we could drop their calories any lower. Like, so somebody that would be in that scenario would be a perfect candidate for what's considered a reverse diet. So they would have to actually start increasing their intake and decreasing their cardio to try to restore their metabolism and bring them up to a healthy baseline. So it totally depends on where somebody's at personally. If you're already at a healthy intake and you're consuming adequate calories, then yeah, it's a little bit more straightforward. You start at a high percentage of fat, a low percentage of carbs, a moderate amount of protein, and then those macros are manipulated on a weekly or biweekly basis just to see if we can find like that particular person's sweet spot where the protein and fat ratio works best for them.
What do you think? What do you think leads? Like, what do you think of the top aspects of like of your most successful clients? Like, what do you think they do the best? Like, you know what I mean? Is it, I know consistency and things like that, but like, do they, journal, or what are some of the things that some of the people who are most successful are able to do and kind of leads to their success?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it probably boils down to a lot of mindset. And I just got done with a really, really awesome client named Steve. He just wrapped up his coaching. We've been working together for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And he first came to me, I want to say it was a couple of years ago. First came to me, asked me for some help, and he was just not in a happy part of his life. And he was unhealthy. His food choices, his alcohol choices, his dietary stuff, his working out, was just not good. And at that time, we couldn't quite get the ball rolling good enough. And he told me straight out, he's like, I got to work on some personal things before I'm going to be able to open up my mindset to follow your guidance. And I was like, okay, cool. That's totally fine. I get it. We all have different lives. And he ended up doing some self work and came back to me the following January or December, I want to say. And his mindset was like spot on, and he nailed everything to a T. He did the workouts, he hit the macros, he watched his hydration, his electrolytes. I mean, everything. We were in touch. We talked every single day. He was sending me progress pictures, and he was just like so in tune.
Yeah.
And his results were best case scenario. So he had the mindset the second time. He didn't have it the first time. So if somebody is looking for that guidance or that advice, but they're not mentally ready to commit to it, that's a big component. That's probably the biggest component. Like, I know some people want to change something about their life, but they don't want to change. And until they're ready to change, no one can force them to do it.
Yeah. You almost, you almost would like, I mean, no one's going to sign up with you, man, if you say, hey, you know what, let's talk about mindset first. You know what I mean? People are thinking like, what are you talking about? But that is really the component that brings the success.
It is. Yeah, like even back when I was a smoker. Yep. Like I knew smoking 2 packs a day isn't good. And people would be like, man, why do you smoke? You shouldn't smoke. A lot of my friends didn't smoke. And they're like, oh, why do you smoke? You smell, you always go outside. It's freezing outside. You got to go outside and smoke. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'll quit. But I didn't have the mindset. And once I turned that leaf and that mindset clicked in, I gave up smoking cold turkey. And that mindset is what people have to allow to show through. Like just.
And for you, and again, I'll just hit on it again. Was there a specific thing that made you quit smoking?
Just waking up that morning, just feeling like crap. I'm like, I had a conversation with myself, probably in bed, like just feeling like the world was spinning around me. Like, dude, what are you doing? You're however old. Like, this is no way to wake up in the morning. You feel like crap. Yeah. You look like crap. You smell like crap. No one wants to hang out with you. What are you going to do today? Probably lay in bed and waste the whole entire day away and eat junk food. It was just time to flip it around.
Yeah. Hey, so with your program, obviously you're doing keto.
Yeah.
How important do you think, I mean, what's cardio like for you? And how important do you think cardio is to I guess it depends on their goals, but most people come probably for weight loss.
Yep.
So like, what do you think about cardio as far as, in conjunction with keto?
I think cardio is great for everybody to do a little bit of, but not overkill. It should not be prioritized for weight loss, in my opinion. Nutrition manipulation should be prioritized for weight loss. Cardiovascular health is a little bit different. When you look at it from a cardiovascular health standpoint, we should all be doing a little bit of cardio. We should all be out walking. We should maybe do some high intensity sprinting or running or some type of movement that's going to keep our cardiovascular health improved. But when people think that they need to go to the gym and do 45 minutes on the elliptical every single morning to burn calories, that's not the appropriate mindset, because you're just setting yourself up for failure at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've all seen the person in there just living on the stair stepper or the treadmill, and what happens just from the body acclimates, you start losing muscle, overuse injuries.
Yes.
And then metabolic, I mean, it kind of just throws the system off, I think, from doing too much cardio.
Yeah. I mean, essentially you're digging yourself a caloric deficit, right? So if you're burning 500 calories every single morning on the stair climber or the elliptical or the treadmill or something, this is somewhat equivalent. I shouldn't say it's equivalent, but it's comparable to eating that many calories less per day, whereas you could do less cardio with more intensity and still get cardiovascular benefits without it impacting your metabolic rate so much.
Yeah, and then just food, right?
Yep.
Food creating the deficit.
You got it. Yep. Well, you get your nutrition dialed in and add cardio on an as needed minimal dosage basis.
There you go. And how do you work strength training? Like, say you have someone, because my listeners, a lot of beginners or people just starting over or people just changing direction.
Sure.
So, what would you say? Maybe someone who's just starting up, and as far as strength training is concerned.
Strength training is key. That's the fountain of youth right there. If you can get in there and put your muscles in a state of stress, your muscles, your joints, your ligaments, all your connective tissue, put them to work. Make them do something they're not acclimated to doing. That's how you create progress. That's how you get stronger. That's how your bones get stronger. Your joints get stronger. You prevent injury, all that kind of good stuff. So if you're just starting out, I'd say a couple times a week is a great goal. You don't want to burn yourself out. You don't want to create an injury. You want to make it fun. Some people feel like they have to go to the gym to be healthy. I like to go to the gym. I'm excited to go to the gym. I value my time in the gym, just like you. I mean, we love working out because we know
Absolutely.
It makes us feel so much better. And when you're just getting started out, it can be daunting. It can be overwhelming. You don't know how all this weird equipment works. People are staring at you. You feel uncomfortable. The the workout leggings that you got don't fit quite right, or, whatever else. You have all these things going through your head, like, oh, these are all the reasons I shouldn't be going to the gym. Well, just
I think everyone's looking at you.
Yeah, right. So kick them to the side, make it fun. Find a workout that you enjoy doing. Maybe hire a trainer for your few sessions, or get a friend. If you have a workout partner, you guys can figure stuff out together. Make it fun. Enjoy the process, because it shouldn't have an end goal. There should be no destination, no finish line to working out. It should be the rest of your life. So start slow and ease into it.
Yeah. And also too, I mean, it's not so much as the nutrition, but strength training adds muscles metabolically active tissue, right? So they'll get some calorie burning too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The more muscle tissue you have on your walking, living body, the more calories you burn at rest just doing nothing. So you have metabolically active tissue. Yep.
Yeah. So strength training is huge. So basically, so we're strength training, cardio. We talked a little bit about anything else about mindset. We're talking mindset. I just feel like sometimes people want to jump. They have like an all or nothing mentality. They just think they have to go on. Maybe see this as well. Like you get clients who you're just trying to hold up. You're trying to keep them back, but they want to go like 1,000 miles an hour. You're like, no, it doesn't. You can just slow it down. You don't have to go that far. But no, they're like type A. They're like, no. They they're so used to their jobs or whatever they do that they're so used to running through brick walls.
Yes. Yep.
But you just like, maybe you could speak to that, like, hey, just small steps, big results type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, small steps, big results. I like that, because, I mean, we all know somebody who's like, when they attach to something new, they are like 150%, and they're going to just burn themselves right out. And I mean, a lot of people are so excited, and kudos to them. That's great. You've got to be passionate about it, but you also don't want to burn it up so fast that you're just left feeling sore, worn out, uninspired anymore. Your motivation weans. I mean, you and I know that we're not always motivated. At the very beginning of something new, the motivation is there. After it kind of wears off and you wake up and you have like, you don't feel 100%, but you feel like you should still go to the gym. That's where motivation kind of lacks, but dedication and commitment kicks in, and you just have to find your way to the gym anyways. So the people that are like, go, you got to try to slow them down. Just say, all right, I know you're super excited. You want to do all 6 workouts today. Let's space those out. Let's save a little bit of that energy. I know you're super excited. You're super passionate. I respect that. And I adore that, or admire that. But we're going to set this habit up for long term. Like, we don't want to burn you out the first couple of weeks, because that can happen. That happens to a lot of people as they get burnt out. They see super fast, instant results the first week, first 2 weeks, first month, and then the results kind of start to taper, and they don't come as quickly. And then the excitement tapers as well. So you got to shoot long term.
So you end up taking a couple steps back when you're trying to go, like you said, kudos. So like, happy that you're so into this, but you actually can go further by taking a couple steps back and going a little bit slower. That way, what you're doing is sustainable, right? Because if it isn't sustainable, then what good is it, right?
Absolutely. That's a good point. Sustainability. So if someone is super, super excited and they want to work out all 7 days that first week, that's not sustainable.
Right.
So if you want to go, that's not sustainable. You just set the pace. The tortoise and the hare, that old little children's story. The tortoise goes very, very slow in the race. The hare goes very, very fast and burns himself out, and the tortoise wins.
Yeah. Hey, do you do cheat meals at all? Do you believe in that for keto?
Some people do. I would say it's kind of individual. Some people feel like they need one to stay on track. They need one to have a mental break. They need one to allow some social interaction or getting together with friends and family, that kind of thing. I don't personally do them anymore. Earlier on, 10 years ago, I used to do weekly or bi-weekly cheat meals, and they were not ketogenic in any nature. And
Yeah.
I phased them out because I felt like crap, and it took me another week to get back into ketosis at that point.
Yeah.
A refeed, however, there are ketogenic refeeds that we do incorporate when people get down into such a deep deficit and their hunger is really, really amplified. It's just an influx of protein and an influx of fat for one particular meal or one particular day. And that just kind of keeps the metabolism rocking and rolling and gives you a little bit of something exciting to look forward to.
Could you say that someone would still be in keto if they did it like that? Like, say they went 6 days keto and then they wanted like a day to do something else. Would that be something that you'd be down with? Or would you like say, hey, you know what, we need to make it a lifestyle? Like, or how would you deal with that?
Yeah, I guess the longer you can put off having a non-ketogenic meal, the better, because we really want your body to build and strengthen those metabolic pathways for becoming fat adapted. And by having a cheat meal or a free meal or having a carb indulgence that boots you out of ketosis, it kind of steps you back several steps. And so you have to, if you're digging a hole in the ground to put a swimming pool in, and you're digging a hole, and then now you decide you're going to put a couple shovels of dirt back in the hole, you got to redig that same dirt back out again. So you're kind of taking some steps backwards.
Do you ever use keto strips? Those keto, for measuring
like
keto or like whatever?
Are you talking about the urinalysis or the blood?
Or the urinalysis, like any way to like measure ketosis? Like, I'm not sure what,
when I was, Yeah, so when I was new into the world of ketosis, I did use the urinalysis strips. Those are the ones that you can find at pretty much any drugstore, Walmart, pharmacies, all that kind of stuff. However, they're not very reliable. And I learned this the hard way because I was like, oh, this is awesome. They're purple. That means I'm super deep ketosis. And then pretty soon I'd use one of the sticks and it wouldn't show anything. And then a little while later it would, and then it didn't. And then I started looking into them, and they lose their accuracy the longer you're in ketosis. What they're actually doing is measuring waste ketones in the urine. So as your body becomes more efficient at producing and utilizing ketones, you're going to be excreting less waste. So you might be rocking and rolling in a super deep state of ketosis and fat adapted, but you're not wasting any because your body knows how much you need to make. So it's not throwing any out the garbage. Also, they lose their efficiency or their accuracy depending on how hydrated you are. So if you're dehydrated or overhydrated, it's going to show totally different colors on those urinalysis strips. The blood ketone strips and the blood ketone monitors are much more accurate. They also fluctuate throughout the day, though. So you might measure your blood ketones in the morning. You might measure them pre-meal, post-meal, in the evening, after a workout, and it's going to be all over the place. So I used to measure them pretty religiously, but after a while, those also are going to show a lower reading. Ben Azadi, I think, had a super good podcast episode with somebody else. I forget who his guest was. And they were talking about the longer you're keto, the longer you're fat adapted, the less ketones are going to show up on any of your measurable devices because your body becomes so efficient
because you're using
at producing. Right? Yeah. So your body knows, hey, you need this much worth of ketones each day. That's all we're going to produce. So it produces enough to fill the tank, but not enough to overflow into the bloodstream a whole lot and show super elevated readings on blood strips. And before I knew that, I was so aggravated because I had been 8, 9, 10 years into keto, and I was doing these blood strips, and they were only showing 0.2, 0.4, 0.6. I'd never even hit like 1.0 millimolars.
Which meant you're further in it.
Yeah. So, and then I would see these other people that were just starting keto, or they were just, a year into it or something, and they're getting like 1.5, 2.0, 3.0 millimolars on their blood strips. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm not eating carbs. What's going on? And then come to find out, that is exactly why. The longer you're in it, the
That's
more efficient your
interesting.
body is, right? So it's not spilling over and making too many excess ones.
Hey, and another thing too, what about does cholesterol reading make a difference when you're on keto? Like if you go to the doctor and your cholesterol is high, and then
Yeah.
I'm sure you've run
So,
into this.
oh man, that is the deepest topic in the world of keto and carnivore
Huge.
is dietary cholesterol and serum levels. Because I mean, I'm looking at my bookshelf over here, and I have 6 books on cholesterol. One of
Yep.
them is, I forget, I can't see Dr. Ken Berry. Ken Berry's got some.
I have the great cholesterol myth. Right?
Yeah, I have the same one. Yep.
Yep.
I've got Eat Fat, Get Thin, Cholesterol Clarity, Lies My Doctor Told Me, all the books written by some of the top names, Sean Baker and all those guys.
Yep.
Cholesterol is such a deep topic. I mean, we could talk about that for hours and hours.
We just kind of hit on it because, it's something that always comes
It's
up.
a scary subject for a lot of people. Yeah. So they're like, oh, I've been on keto and I went to the doctor and he said my cholesterol is super, super high and I need to take a statin and they want to do this and you can't be eating all that fat and everything. Well, the truth is your dietary cholesterol has very little impact on your serum cholesterol levels. And we're blaming cholesterol for the wrong thing. And all these studies are coming out, all this research is coming out. And what we thought we knew about cholesterol, what doctors and physicians thought they knew about cholesterol is just like the very tip of the iceberg. They're not even looking at the right metrics. Those good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, LDL, the 4 primary numbers that everybody gets when they go to the doctor, those don't even correlate necessarily with risk factors. There's so much more to it. So if someone is scared about cholesterol or their doctor says, hey, your cholesterol is sky high, mine is sky high. Everybody that I know, total cholesterol, mine's like 300 or 400, I don't, whatever it is.
Sure, mine's high,
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're at risk for a cardiovascular event of some sort. But what we tell people is, hey, we encourage you to dig into the research. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you anything that would be construed as medical advice.
I know.
Dig into the research that's recent, not the old stuff.
Right.
Yep.
So could someone just say, hey, you know what, doctor, the cholesterol's high. Could it just say, hey, I'm on keto and my body's utilizing fat. I'm using fat as energy. So cholesterol numbers are up because it's being utilized. That is my energy source. Is that something they could say to the doctor? What would be like something to tell them so they can kind of, say, hey, this is why I'm eating clean, this is,
Yeah. I mean, there was, I forget who it was. Oh, Nick Norwitz. Nick Norwitz anyways.
Yeah.
He just did a experiment where he ate 700 and some eggs in 1 month because he wanted to do this cholesterol study test. So it was equivalent to him eating 1 egg every half an hour, or every hour, or whatever, for an entire month. So he would eat just a ton of eggs. He had all of his lipid markers checked, the blood panel, all these different analytics tested prior to and after this experiment, and his cholesterol had no impact. And so what you eat, red meat, eggs, whatever else is high in cholesterol, does not really influence what your ratings are. Those are influenced by other things. Cholesterol is absolutely critical for hormones. It's also absolutely critical for brain health. Our brain is like, like 50, 60% cholesterol, 70% cholesterol. So we need cholesterol, and our body will actually produce cholesterol if we don't consume enough.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think ending on the cholesterol thing, I think that's a good place. It's been an awesome, but do you have anything else? First of all, you know what, before we do that, let's talk about how people can find you. Like,
oh, sure.
What are some of the best places?
I would say, if you have Instagram, that's where I'm most lively. Keto Greg 80, Keto Greg 80 on Instagram. I do dabble a little bit on Facebook, and That's probably the two primary. Yeah.
Yeah. Any
Deep
parting
keto coach and stuff too. So
keto? Oh yeah, keto.
Yep.
Any parting advice, like anything for someone who's, let's say, thinking about keto and someone at work did it, and what would be the best thing to do, to get started with keto?
I would say do a little bit of research, kind of so you understand what to expect. Try to avoid all the keto foods, the things that are labeled keto, at least at the onset. You can reintroduce those as you get further in. But the majority of the shopping at the grocery store is going to be around the outer perimeter. You're not going to go down the middle aisles for a whole lot. So that's going to include meat, eggs, cheese, dairy, poultry, fish. That's the majority of everything. Vegetables, produce, that kind of stuff. Try to keep it as simple as you can. Don't obsess over getting in a certain number of meals. Just eat when you're hungry. Eat until you feel satisfied. Eat to satiety, and then eat again when you're hungry. I would say focus on committing to it for at least 90 days. A lot of people decide they're going to hop on a keto bandwagon, and they are keto for the first week and they're doing great. They lose some weight. They feel awesome. And then little Susie's birthday party pops up on Saturday and they decide they're going to have some cake. And then they wonder why now they gained 3 pounds. Well, now you're retaining some fluid and you got to kind of start all over. So I tell people, try to dedicate at least 30, 60, 90 days would be awesome.
That's a good point. That's a good tip right there. Yeah, because your body's, you're totally like flipping your energy sources. So you're going to feel like kind of maybe energy levels are a little bit lower just because, you're changing things up. So is there some kind of like keto? Sometimes people feel like they're having the flu or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, the keto flu is a real thing. It's coined the keto flu because some of the symptoms people encounter are similar to going through the flu. And your body's going through a withdrawal. Depending on what your current or your previous dietary intake looked like, if it was very carb loaded and you had a lot of carbs, a lot of sugar going into it, you may have to wean those down over time instead of cutting those all cold turkey, because you're going to go through almost like a substance withdrawal.
Yeah.
And your body is just scrambling for sugar. You're going to have cravings. You're going to have headaches. You're going to feel sluggish. Your sleep might be impacted. Your bathroom activity might be impacted. Some of the best ways to overcome that and make that a little bit easier to deal with is you're going to increase your hydration. You're going to increase your electrolytes, because as we deplete carbs, we deplete water weight, and we're flushing and imbalancing our electrolytes. And if we don't replenish those in a good way, you're going to feel like crap. And that's one of the things that a lot of people take as a supplement is electrolytes.
We didn't talk about,
Yeah, that's key. That's one of the probably biggest things for people in a ketogenic or low carb diet, especially at the onset, at the beginning, is you want to make sure that you really dial in your sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, all that kind of good stuff.
Yes, that's awesome. Those are some golden nuggets right there. That's huge right there. Just for that little bit right there was awesome right there. So, great. Awesome, man. This was great combo. Man, this was great conversation, man. Loved it.
I appreciate it, man. I do appreciate and respect you. So thank you for having me on. If there's ever any follow-up, reach out anytime.
Yeah, for sure, man. And when you mentioned electrolytes, I was like, dang, we didn't talk about, we'll get that next time, man.
Yeah. You can put it in the notes too.
There you go. There you go. All right, brother, man. I appreciate it, man. Just hang on after. I'm going to stop recording.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
Your journey to achievement doesn't stop here. Jump on a 10-minute strategy call with Eric Bonilla by DMing at Eric Bonilla Fitness. We'll see you next time on the Unconventional Podcast.